Hey guys, so this is another video where my wife couldn't join me, so we're just going to do this one with myself real quick. We're talking about this week the beginnings of World War I, how the United States joined it, why they got involved, the impact of World War I on the United States. We're kind of looking at all that these next couple of weeks. Just World War I is a big event on the world stage, and even though the United States wasn't super involved in it like other countries were, especially in Europe, it's still super important to how it impacted the United States and the people living there, and how it kind of collided with these other things, the progressive movements and other things we've been talking about, imperialism, other things too. So the United States entered into World War I, is what we're looking at today. And then basically joins World War I, 1917 and 1918 is when it's this buildup happened. So German weaponry. So Germany had these submarines, or what are also called, U-boats, and they patrolled the Atlantic. And these were, if you've ever seen a submarine, they go under the water, they shoot torpedoes out, and they sink ships, but they're really good at hiding, so they're hard to find, which is kind of why they make them. And U-boats are patrolling the Atlantic Ocean. They're trying to prevent supplies from reaching Britain or France. If you guys remember, that's who the World War I's between. You have the Allies, which you have the Britain, France, and Russia, and then later Italy will join them too, against Germany, Austria, and the Ottoman Empire. So the Central Powers kind of in the middle, not most, but those ones kind of joining, fighting against the people on either side. And so in order, if you remember about World War I, there's trench warfare. It's very hard on the Western Front for anyone to gain advantage. It's very back and forth, very stagnant. There's trenches, it's muddy, it's dirty. And because of that, Germany figures that the best way they have to win is if they can make the keep supplies and anything from reaching Britain or France. So what they do, they send up these U-boats, and these U-boats sink these ships, supply ships going from Britain and France, and they sink them, these submarines. And they would end up having a consequence though, because the problem is that when you're doing something about U-boats, is that they are very hard to, they're very hard to, when you sink something, everyone on board is probably going to die in a certain right, left, life vest, and still has a good chance of dying. So it's estimated that 5,000 merchants were sunk during this time. They sunk a ton, 15,000 were killed by U-boats by the end of their, they started out very successful until the British figured out how to stop them. 12 million ton supply. So at first, these U-boats are doing great. They're sinking a ton of ships. There's a picture of a U-boat too. They're sinking a bunch of ships, other things. But there's one problem with U-boats, and that is it's hard to figure out who you're shooting. Sometimes you don't know who's aboard that ship. It might be flying a British flag, but there might be someone that you're friends with aboard that ship, and that means that person's probably dying. That's going to make those people mad. See, that's exactly what happens with the Lusitania. Okay, so Lusitania is a British ship. But it is carrying, coming from America, carrying American citizens. Okay, so hundreds of Americans are on board, and it is sunk by a torpedo from a German U-boat. And this is a passenger ship. It's carrying passengers. Also has some weapons aboard too. But when the Lusitania sinks, 124 Americans die. And this makes America pretty mad. They don't declare war immediately. It's not like they're like, declare war on Germany. No, but they begin to not like Germany because they just killed a bunch of their citizens. Even though the citizens were aboard a British ship and Britain was at war with Germany, it still makes the Americans annoyed in that. So that sinking is bad. And there's a newspaper headline of the sinking. Over 1,000 people dead. It sinks in 5 minutes off of Ireland, and it begins to set this. Americans begin to wonder, maybe we're going to have to go to war. But other events are going to keep happening. This begins to, a lot of people actually did not want to go to war. Okay, they're like, hey, let's not die in this war happening here. Why would we get involved? We're an ocean away. No one's threatening us. The war started for stupid reasons. We really aren't involved. Why should we join this war? And in fact, they're so against the war. Woodrow Wilson kind of goes up to election and wins the election by saying, hey, he kept us out of war and he's going to keep us out of war. He's going to make sure that we don't go into World War I. And he wins re-election saying that I'm not going to get us drawn. We are not going to take sides. We're going to keep our hands away from this war, and we're not going to be involved. However, politicians don't always tell the truth, and Woodrow Wilson happens to be one of those. since the war that happened, so that was the last part then, is that U.S. has the U.S. actually been neutral since the war ended? When you look at this graph will show you the amount of exports from the U.S. to other countries. And you see when the war starts in 1914, you can see trade with Germany pretty much stops, mainly because there was a blockade from France and Britain, but other reasons too. But you see what happens with trade to Britain and France increases drastically. So now the U.S. is actually taking advantage of this war. They're selling Britain and France a ton of things. They're selling the metal, food, supplies, whatever else they can find, and gaining a ton of money by selling Britain and France out, but they're not selling Germany that. So that's going to make U.S. economically, at least, very tied to the Britain and France and not tied so much to Germany. Because once again, this wasn't like World War II, which we talked about. World War II is a very obvious good and bad guy. World War I, not so much. Even though Wonder Woman makes it sound like it, it's not quite as accurate. So in 1916, Germany begins to get worried, or the 1917, sorry. By 1916, the United States basically goes to the U.S. and says, we will not sink any of your ships as long as you're peaceful to us. If you're peaceful to us, we will not sink any of your ship. But then by 1970, Germany's like, hey, this war has been going on for almost 4 years. We are tired. This war is going long. We are running out of food. We're running out of supplies. We need this war to end. We need to win it quickly. So what we're going to do is we're going to start unrestricted submarine warfare. So instead of our submarines just attacking British or French ships, we're going to attack anyone's ship. Anyone that we see that's heading to Britain or France, we're going to sink their ships. They're not getting any surprise supplies. We're going to do this. They're trying to get England and France to surrender immediately. However, this is a big mistake. It's a huge mistake because by doing this, all of a sudden, the United States is going to help bring the United States into the war on Britain and France's side. So that's one thing. So now they've sunk Lusitania. They've now said they will start sinking American ships, and they will do that to try to keep them from trading. And the second thing that happens is the Zimmermann third thing that happens, is the Zimmermann telegram. And what a telegram is basically a message is passed through a wire and a telegram. And it's sent to, and it's the German's foreign ministry basically messages Mexico. Mexico's right below the U.S. and says, hey, if you invade U.S. and take them out, we will let you keep California and all that. We'll help you take it if you go ahead and invade them. But the only issue, so they're telling Mexico this, and Mexico doesn't act on this because Mexico pretty much knows that the United States is a lot stronger. But U.S. so it doesn't act on this. But the problem is that this news gets out, it is intercepted, and the United States finds out about this and is published in all the newspapers. And all these newspapers see, wait a minute, Germany, who we are neutral with, is now attacking our ships, and now they're saying that they're going to support Mexico to invade us. That's not okay. You can't just, you're being neutral too. And this is going to be the third reason for the war. So Lusitania sinks, unrestricted submarine warfare, economic reasons as well. So the U.S. trading more with Britain and France and needing them to win the war. So this is kind of the fourth reason, the Zimmermann telegram, basically telling the U.S. that Germany wants you gone. They do not support you. This is a transcript of it, written in English. The first one picture you saw was in code, which are the numbers. So this is the actual, like, if you translate it and decode it, this is what it says. Basically saying that Mexico, we want you to attack U.S., take those lower states back. They took from you all those years ago. So U.S. would then, 3 days after they begin their unrestricted warfare, the United States declares war on Germany and says, hey, they're attacking our ships now. That's it. We're going to war. The United States does not like it when they attack their ships. U.S. Maine, talk about Pearl Harbor, World War I, all these are happening because of these ships being sunk. But as we saw, it's not cut and dry. It's not like we'll see the World War II or the Spanish-American War, where you can really kind of narrow it down to one or two events. World War I, there's kind of a bunch of reasons kind of all built up. And eventually, this is unrestricted submarine warfare. The United States says, that's it. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. We're declaring war on you, and the fourth time in our history that we've done it, and we are going to take you down. And they kind of do. They aren't the reason Germany loses the war, but they sure help a lot, mainly for economic reasons. All right, good job. You guys have a great day. I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.